And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. The founder of Black Lives Matter Houston is blowing the whistle on the separate and national organization. Ashton P. Woods claims Black Lives Matter is not as inclusive as it claims to be. In an exclusive interview with The Factor, he details being discriminated against, as well as some serious claims of sexual abuse in the organization.
We started trying to communicate with them and they ignored us. And honestly, part of it was, and you know, I'm pro-Black woman all day, right? Mm-hmm. They didn't want to support us because I was a Black man who happened to be gay, working to start a chapter here in Houston. And you saw the beginnings of that with the Sandra Bland protests. We've been around, we ain't go nowhere, but we never got the help that we needed. And so-
Wait, Ashton, go back real quick. So you're saying Black Lives Matter, the national chapter, you couldn't get the support you wanted because you were a gay male? And
no,
they said no?
No, because I'm a man. And no, this is not about being sexist. This is not about attacking women. I trust Black women, but just like trusting anybody else, I trust but verify. The issue is that this is mostly a female-led and gender non-binary and trans-led movement, which I fully support. As you know, my best friend and big sis, Monica Roberts, was a part of Black Lives Matter Houston before she died. Mm-hmm. And we always made sure that the trans community had a voice to the forefront. We did events. When we would start events, if it was for Black women, if it was for Black women, Black femmes, Black trans people, that are women and some who are non-binary, trans men who are female to male, who, for example, are having to deal with abortion rights issues because men can get pregnant, according, you know, in the trans world. And so when you think about how all of these binaries break down, there are people who are cisgender, meaning they are like us, they identify as the sex we were assigned at birth, who have certain standards. And because of how some Black men, which I agree with this idea, have been very sexist, have been very anti-LGBT, have been very incelish, and disrespectful towards women. So I will never step in front of a woman. I will never step in front of someone who is more marginalized than I, but I will also talk about the idea that there's someone here, myself, who is standing up and saying, hey, nobody else wants to do this, I'm stepping up. And, you know, part of it was because I'm a male. And that's not to discriminate against women. I'm saying that over and over again because I know I'm going to get flack for this, but also recognize that there have been some really horrible examples of Black men who co-opt movement, especially in the BLM movement, saying that Black Lives Matter and silencing women. I will never do that. I would never do that. I will always step up and step back. But when we are hurting each other, that is a form of anti-Blackness. And so when we're talking about the BLM movement versus the BLM network that we're speaking on here, we've seen how there are some people who were part of chapters who have been raped. There are some people who have been part of chapters who have been ostracized, like I previously stated before. There's been all kinds of abuses, just like in any other movement where people have power, and that power lends itself to whiteness and white supremacy.
We can't just gloss over that. You're saying there have been individuals who have been actively involved with Black Lives Matter who have been raped.
Yeah, I'm saying it, and I don't regret it.
By whom?
Say it again.
By whom?
I've been told in California, I've been told in New York, but mostly in California. I can't identify those people because of their privacy. Mm-hmm. But there are some people who feel that they have been sexually harassed and raped. There are some people who feel as though, actually even families, who feel as though, especially in California, and in the global network, above all else, has raised money off of Black death and not supported families. Whereas BLM Houston and other chapters have found ways to even help pay for people's funerals when we barely have food in our mouths. You're talking about people like me who have been housing insecure previously. There's a lot of times you've interviewed me and I had nowhere to lay my head. I had no food to put in my mouth. And still getting out there and saying, you know what? The community matters. This is my calling. Mm-hmm. As an individual activist and on behalf of Black Lives Matter Houston. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I was a 14-year-old boy who got put out of his house because he was getting homeless on the street, got raped at 16, and put himself through school and wound up getting a GED, and then walking the halls of Congress and walking the Texas legislature and getting bills passed and getting people elected that will do the right thing. We need people, not just like me, but the Black women and the LGBT people and the other people who have been othered to be pushed to the forefront. It's never been about money for people like us because we've always been broke. But when you're talking about $10 million here in the piggy bank and you're raising $90 million there and you're not pushing any support towards anybody, I'll never forget how angry I was when we were trying to get a storage unit to put things in for Hurricane Harvey. I got a call from Patrice Cullors herself. And she was like, oh, we're going to send a truck down. We're going to send da-da-da-da-da. They ain't send me nothing. They ain't send us nothing. We rode around in our own cars, getting flat tires and nails in our tires at our own expense, trying to help the people of Houston, just like all the other activist groups, helping when we got devastated by Harvey. And that's just an example.
Wow, wow. Lots going on with Black Lives Matter. Well, we need to, of course, reach out and see what kind of response they have. Ashton, always good to see you, and thank you for the work that you do in this community. We know you work tirelessly, nonstop to make change, to get legislation passed, and to put people in a positive position if they're dealing with hurricanes or other problems. Thank you for the job you do. Unfortunately, we're seeing what's happening on the national level. And once again, you're not affiliated with the national level. You're Black Lives Matter Houston only.
Houston,
thank you, sir.
Houston born, Houston founded, and about Houston only.
There you go. Appreciate it. Thank you for joining us tonight.
And of course, we held this interview several days to make sure we reached out to Black Lives Matter, the national organization, for a response. We reached out twice. So far, we have not gotten a response back.